What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Cuz
Yes, who's back? Back
I
again.
know what's happening, people. It's been a minute. I am back from my good old time back in Fiji.
What does that even mean?
I know I was having a good old time. Wow, Sleeper really changed, really switched it up, didn't they?
What'd they switch up? I feel like it looks
I
the
don't
same.
know. I just got you just sent me that link, and I was like, what the f?
Oh, what, like the invite links or something?
Yeah, hold
Oh,
on. This
okay.
is just
I
so
was like, it
weird.
looks the same to me. I've been looking at this freaking site for like
Okay.
4 months in a row.
What's happening, people? I am back from wedding honeymoon routine. It's all love. I mean, seeing all the love you guys been showing me. I mean, since I left, and now you guys are here. I'm back. You guys been showing support to Zach. Huge thank you for that. We've been growing. We getting bigger. The NFL draft has happened. A lot of stuff to talk about. I got to catch you up on my thoughts, and I'm still trying to get my thoughts around everything.
Yeah, take
Um,
your time.
there's so much stuff happening.
It took me to be honest like a good like 3 or 4 days to really digest things and
Yeah.
like come up with solid convictions on my rankings. So
Nah, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be grinding this week to get you guys all the rankings back, or all the rankings from my side, to you guys, because I know you guys already either done your rookie drafts or going into your dynasty startup soon. So I'm gonna be trying to
yeah,
grind out and giving you each and every one of those things that Zach has already provided for you, my perspective, and you're gonna be hearing some of my perspectives today as well. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been seeing, and I've been commenting a lot when I was out there. But
speaking of when people do their
mhm.
drafts, I put up a poll on YouTube community because I was really curious to see when people do draft because it's a little bit different to us. I think every league does it a little bit different. There's a very few percentage of people who actually draft before the NFL draft. So you
Mhm.
can see here, 500 votes. 1% of people vote before the draft. 17% of people the day after the draft, 46% of people a week after the NFL draft, and then you kind of have like a good percentage of people June, July, August. I know someone was commenting saying something along the lines of, um, you know, they do it a week before the season, so it's interesting, definitely interesting. I don't think there's a wrong time except for before the NFL draft, but at the same time, there are those people, and I understand the hype, the thrill. You bet on a talent, and then the draft, you either see that rewarded or you didn't see eye to eye with how the NFL views a player. Man, that's just a lot of risk uh,
Yeah,
to draft that way. But
100%.
we will be doing obviously rookie drafts for the Alpha and Bravo follower leagues that we started up last offseason. So the Alpha and Bravo follower leagues, we will have rookie drafts. We'll probably stream those. We definitely will stream those. Those will be because we kind of vote and we want the people in the league to have all the power. So we were like, hey, what do you guys want to do? How do you want to go about this? And most people wanted to do, I think, in June or July. So, but speaking of our follower leagues, if you are at all interested in joining a follower league,
That's right.
we currently have, I believe we currently have 6 spots filled in our most recent league, which means that there are 6 spots left. That is in the golf league. So if you
Gosh,
are
man, that's crazy. I gotta
interested
catch up
in
with that
joining
too.
Patreon and supporting the show, definitely make sure you read through all these tiers before you sign up and ask us any questions. The
Mm-hmm.
Close Friends Plus tier will get you all of our rankings. It'll give you access to an exclusive live stream once per week. It'll get access to a fantasy hotline chat, which is where you can ask us questions one-on-one. You can play in redraft leagues with us. You can play in dynasty leagues with us. You can play in both. Ways to support the show, compete with a good community. So feel free to check it out. Ask us if you have any questions.
Mm-hmm. Yo, I was
But
actually this is so random too. I was actually checking like other people's stuff that do like leagues. I feel like ours is the most affordable.
mm,
Sounds like I've seen one where there's like 25 plus, 50 plus to
right.
play in a dynasty league, and that's a lot of, I mean, sounds like a lot of money, but I feel like our
Are they
our
bigger
deal is really good.
channels though? I don't know if they're like, hey, we're a bigger channel. I mean, I
I've
guess
seen
everyone
I
puts
mean,
a price on their time.
they're bigger channel, yeah, for sure, and they're bigger channels compared to us. I mean, I've seen one that was probably like just under 10,000, maybe I think like 8-9,000.
Right.
And then obviously you see ones that are, you know, 15,000
Right.
plus. Obviously you see, yeah, man, crazy.
Yeah. Well, welcome back, Badake like cake from the honeymoon.
Fiji, I recommend it. Fiji Marriott Resort, Mommy Bay. Yo, it's beautiful. I keep saying this. Fiji's different.
Marriott Resort. What's the Mommy Bay? Is that what you said?
Mommy Bay, MOMI Bay Resort.
All right. So they're gonna get a free ad right now.
They're gonna get a free ad right now.
Imagine. So talk us about it. Tell us about it.
So obviously this is the overwater viewers. I stayed in a different room called the Lagoon View, which is
Lagoon Front, Lagoon View. Okay.
Lagoon Front. That's the one that I stayed in.
Okay.
Where you can go straight into the lagoon, which is hella clear. It has like little fishies in there. Yeah, that's the one I stayed in. You can get like a beach front or a lagoon front. I had a lagoon front.
Look at that.
It's beautiful out there. That's exactly how my room looked. And I walked up into the water every single morning. They had a pool. They had a swim up bar.
There you go. Was the water actually look that clear?
No, that ass is actually that clear.
That's awesome.
The lagoon water, if it rains, because sometimes it will rain. If it rains, it like kind of changes a different color. But when it's hella clear and there's no rain, then it's super clear.
That's awesome.
But they had an infinity pool. They have live music everywhere. They had like jet skis and stuff. Yo, and it's hella cheap. Hella cheap. Well, compared to like flying from America to Fiji, that's expensive. But from Australia to Fiji is really affordable and it's cheap. Like,
yeah,
I'll be honest with you. We were there. We had unlimited. We had drinks all the time. We ate. We had food. We had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's including room service, mind you. I paid for 5 days. It was $800.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
I would expect it to be a lot more. Like I'm saying, I'm having drinks, my guy. I was having drinks from like 10 o'clock all the way until dinner time, and that was like, I would say I probably had about like 8 to 9 drinks a day. Wow. Genuinely, and that's for the both of us.
Yeah,
but
that's pretty good price for sure. No, I went to Thailand for my honeymoon. Yeah, Australian dollars, so it'd be less in American.
And that'd be less in American. So.
Hey guys, 43 people watching the stream. My boy Badake is back. Thanks for joining us. If you have yet to do so, show us some love.
You like that?
Drop a like.
You like that?
If you like the content, if you don't like the content, you can say I'm an egghead in the chat and just move on with your life. But every like helps us on the Explore feed. It helps us grow the channel. So would appreciate it if we can maybe if we get to 30 likes right now with 43 people. I mean, not 25 at the moment. So if you have yet to drop a like, you can help us get to that 30 likes at the moment. What's up, Flocky, Ronnie, Quote, Garrett, Daniel, Steven, Engross, August is here, TD, Flocky, Ravers, Michael, Cole, Ronnie, James, Caleb, Kyle, Gregory, Ronnie, Drusif, Joshua, TD. I see everyone in the chat. What's up? What's up? Flocky, Rod T, Chaser926. Drusif says you can't even get 10 drinks in Boston for $800.
Yo, and I'm telling you, this is 2 people.
Yeah.
Let me just make this clear. It's not $800. That was $800 after checkout. So like obviously I paid for the resort, and we were eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then having drinks in between, having room service. You know how you go on vacation, you just splurge.
Yeah.
We checked out, and it was $800.
Nice.
I was like, bro, that's crazy. I was like, shit, I should have done some more. I was like, I should have done jet skiing. I should have done all this stuff. I was scared. I was like, I don't want to spend thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But anyways,
glad you had a good time. TD says if we get to 75 likes, the fam names the baby.
The fam names the baby.
Yes, Josh, there is a startup after this. We're gonna do 2 streams. Ronnie says, I'm guessing the wife planned your wedding and honeymoon around the NFL draft. I don't think she thought too much about it, did she?
She didn't even know. Honestly, we got mad. We decided on the day and it was like, all right, we'll go on honeymoon after.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until like halfway through I was like, oh shit, that's the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Just a fat GG's, but best believe I was watching it. You guys saw me on day 1. I was watching everything.
Hector says, wow, I just blew $7K on Disneyland. You win. Yo, Jacob. Yeah, we're just catching up. You know, it's just friends chatting. You know, it's the first time I've seen Badake in quite a while, so we're just catching up. You know, letting the
Yeah,
community
it's been a
know how
minute.
Badaki's honeymoon was. So we'll do the draft here soon. You know, we'll do it. All right,
Yeah,
guys.
it's
If you
fun.
have been able to get into the last couple rookie mocks, just like Josh said, he says I'll sit this one out in hopes of snagging a spot in the startup. If you're gonna try and get to one of these, choose one or the other. If you got into mocks yesterday, maybe try and chill, let some other people get in. There will be people who won't be able to get into the mock. As I always say, please don't harass us. Nothing that we can do about it. But hope that you're gonna enjoy the stream. But Badaki, why don't you go ahead and send that link? And just for the 42 people watching who don't know, the way for you to join our mock drafts is to join our Discord. That is the first link that is in the description of this video. I will also
That's right.
paste that link in the chat. In our Discord, there's a text channel called Dynasty Mock Drafts, and that is where we will send the link. So,
Yeah, I'll send that link right here, right now. I'm seeing over 500 people now on Discord, which is crazy. I think when I left, I think there was about like 420 people. That was like in
I think
2
it was
weeks.
480, but yeah.
480? Oh, damn.
Yeah. We've had quite a
Um,
few people join.
all love here. I'm about to send a link here in 3, 2, 1 Dynasty Mock Draft tab. There it is.
All right, so it's going to
in.
fill up relatively quick.
It must have been nice having that extra spot now because I wasn't there for everyone.
Yeah, there was multiple times where I just forgot to actually get in, though.
That's funny.
Like, I would just be doing some, like, just my mind would be going different places during the draft, and then I would do a mock draft,
Yeah.
and I would forget to actually get in myself.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Look, I just want to give a disclaimer too. I know landing spots. I need to feel it out for myself. I'm going to be
Yeah.
taking people maybe you don't expect. At least that's a thought process. I mean, I don't know what I'm actually going to do. It all depends on how everything falls. But I may take people you don't expect because of maybe how I'm viewing them right now. But I'll explain it throughout the way and then give you guys a feel, because I know maybe the first one was like the first rookie mock draft was probably super skewed until the ones that you guys have been doing up until now. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
be catching up with y'all.
Yeah.
But yeah, just letting y'all know.
All right, just for those people who are watching later on and whoever's watching live, just so we can get on the same page, we're doing a rookie draft. 4 rounds, not tight end premium. And obviously we have all the landing spots. If you are doing drafts soon, then over on Patreon, we do have our Superflex rankings, our individual rankings, our startup rankings with rookies. I have that updated. Badaki will have that updated here in a couple days. Badaki was obviously on his honeymoon, so give him some grace if he's trying to figure some stuff out as we go, because it took me like 4 days to really have my convictions. I think we're all, we're all kind of like now set in, but he was on his honeymoon. So let's go ahead and get this started. 2 minutes on the clock.
We'll see how we go,
And that's what we typically see there. Breece Hall at the 101. Now, I have publicly said this, and I don't know why I'm saying public, as if I'm some private figure. But I have said Breece Hall was the 101 before the draft. I still think he is. I'm not worried about Michael Carter. I think he'll have a role, but I think as a talent, he's the most talented player, and I like the landing spot. But
Yeah.
Badaki, do you see this any differently? Are you worried about this landing spot? We haven't had this conversation.
No, I'm not worried about the landing spot. I think it sucks for Michael Carter, but I do believe Michael Carter will still be relevant.
The way I said it is, I said I think Michael Carter's upside is J.D. McKissic on his good day. His floor is probably Nyheim Hines last year. Would you agree, or would you have any input there?
I would actually say it's higher, in my opinion.
It's higher than J.D. McKissic on a good day, because remember, he finished RB 15 on his best year there. I don't think that there's that upside. I'm saying that's the range of outcomes, the upside,
Right.
and
Okay.
the floor of Hines more like an RB 45 finish.
Let me see, because my first thought process of how I can see him having a role. Once again, still getting my bearings. My first thought process was AJ Dillon. I was like, maybe he can get some AJ Dillon work, but like
As
at
far
the
as
same
like
time, Breece,
fantasy value.
yeah, fantasy value, but
Not
at
as
the
a
same
player.
time, yeah, I think AJ Dillon, in my opinion, could be a good mix to what, because I think AJ Dillon last year finished what 20, 25, 24,
Yeah.
something like that. This past year, and I think that's comfortable.
Yeah.
Especially for Michael Carter. So that's my first thought process when it comes down to Breece Hall. So.
Okay.
And Breece Hall, Michael Carter, but I love Breece Hall. I think he's a top 6 guy, top 5 guy for sure.
Yeah.
And I think he will get the workload, no doubt about it.
All right, I just released a video this morning, talking about my Superflex rankings, and I said this before, but if I'm at the 1-2, and there will be times where we pause just to discuss picks. If I'm at the 1-2 in a draft, unless I want a running back in Kenneth Walker to lock him up, then I would strongly suggest moving back, because to me, as I'm showing you here on my queue, there are 7 players that I feel comfortable taking here at the 1-2 genuinely. So I feel like if I'm at the 1-2 and I can move back to the 1-6 and get a bunch of value in return in your rookie drafts, I would absolutely recommend it, especially if you're trying to get a wide receiver with this first pick. So, because I really, again, like these wide receivers, Treylon, Olave, London, Wilson, Jameson Williams, and Garrett Wilson. I think that they are all in a very similar tier. Kenny Pickett's in a great spot if you need a quarterback. So, for me, if I'm at the 1-2, I am super comfortable to trade back in this draft. This is not a draft I want to move up in. I don't dislike Kenneth Walker's landing spot at all. But if I need to choose one player here, and I can't move back. Let's say I can't move back. Then for me, I have at this moment settled on Treylon Burks. I like the landing spot. I also like his quarterback play more than what Drake London is going to get in Atlanta as a rookie. So again, with my rankings, I'm thinking about talent. I'm also thinking about projecting their value in 1 year from now, okay? I might have someone as a better prospect, but it might not mean that they're going to be more valuable in 1 year from now, because situations really matter. The offense that a player is attached to, the quarterback play, the scheme, the competition for opportunities. Treylon Burks walks into a system where there is no A.J. Brown. Bobby Trees is still getting healthy. There's no real competition for targets. I also have Treylon as a better overall prospect as far as a talent than Drake London. So for me, it's those two things are pushing me over the edge. If you want to go Kenneth Walker, you can go Kenneth Walker. I'm not opposed to that. But what I will say is Rashad Penny will have a bigger role in my eyes than what we will see from Michael Carter in New York. So I am all aboard Kenneth Walker at the 1-2 if you need a running back. But I would also consider him anywhere from the 1-2 to the 1-5. So Treylon Burks is where I'm currently landing on. But again, I think there's a lot of flexibility there if you see it differently or if you have, a different preference.
Look, just to comment on that, one thing I thought about Treylon Burks, I was like, you know what, I can see him getting immediate targets, but what does that look like when everything changes? Like what does that look like when the run game isn't as good, when Derrick Henry moves on, in the next 2 to 3 years? I'm a little bit hesitant on taking Treylon, at least the first thought processes. I'm a little bit hesitant taking Treylon Burks so early. I think I would be taking a London, which I didn't really love, a London, a Wilson, and a Olave as high as this.
Let me just have like a little counter on that, because I think this is maybe something that I have grown in my thought of, or I've maybe changed my thoughts on this a little bit, because what did I think about Devonta Smith last year? I thought he was the second best wide receiver in the class, and a lot of people drafted him at the 1-3 to the 1-5. Is he right now worth that price? No. And why is that? Because of the situation that he stepped into, the offense that he stepped into, and the quarterback play. So for me, I think rookie drafts, you really need to think in 1 year from now. Because in 1 year from now, I can trade Treylon Burks for maybe more value than what I think he's worth. That's how I'm kind of viewing it at the moment. I do think you need to consider market value in 6-month terms. So in 6 months, will I be able to trade this player for more or less than what I drafted him for? What sort of target share will he get? So I can understand the concern of Treylon Burks long term. I don't worry about him as a prospect. And also, I don't think that they're going to go back-to-back wide receivers. But do you know where I'm coming from there? I really think we need to start thinking about values for rookies when we're drafting them in a 6-month term, right? So if I draft Burks at the 1-2, this is why I'm not, because you know this, Badake, Jameson Williams, I think he's the most talented wide receiver in the class. But I'm not taking him at the 1-2 because in 6 months time, I don't think he's going to return that value because there's competition around him, you know, the quarterback
Exactly.
play, the offense. So I've really changed my thought here because I really do think that, you know, let's say I go Treylon and in halfway through the season, Jameson Williams isn't getting the target share that I want. Well, I can now go trade for Jameson Williams on the low. So that's kind of where I am at the moment.
Okay, so just market value, just trying to move it up.
I think market value is so important because, I mean, at least you and I in our leagues, we trade. There's trades every week. So players are moved, and I believe in Burks long term as a talent, but I also think that we should be considering the offenses that they step into. And I'm not even saying that I would sell Burks if he started doing well, but I'm just saying that it's something that I do think about because the trade market is always active, and competition, offense, all that really does matter, you know?
Yeah, I definitely get it. I think just to close on that is just like I'm hesitant on taking Treylon because now that Malik's there, I think they will move on from Ryan Tannehill sooner rather than later, get Malik into the game, and that this whole offense is going to change. Even Derrick Henry's workload is going to change. The way Malik is going to operate in it, and I think that can affect Treylon, Derrick Henry, and everyone around him. That's just a thought process, just to finish there. So I'm on the clock here. Breece Hall, Treylon Burks. Once again, this is my first one. I kept saying in the chat, why not Kenny Pickett right here? This is what it feels right for me.
And I don't think that's the wrong answer.
Yeah, and I feel like in 6 months, whether that's Mitchell Trubisky or in a year from now, they're saying, you know what, Mitch, we gave you the opportunity. Now Kenny Pickett is going to come in.
Won't take a year.
Yeah, who knows? And if that's the case, I think Kenny Pickett feels right. It's always felt right for me. I've always wanted to take him as high as the 1-3, and I know Kenneth Walker's still on the board, but I'm actually not as high as people think on Kenneth Walker in the Seattle, I guess, offense. But I'm gonna take Kenny Pickett right here. It just makes sense for me. It just really makes sense. Once again, this is my first one, so if you're watching this now or later, I did come back from my honeymoon, so maybe this will feel dumb to me in a week from now.
No, I don't think I really don't think that's a bad move. Like I've said before, like literally from the 1-2 onwards, I genuinely think there are 7 players that could go at the same point. Like that's why I'm a huge advocate for trading back from the 1-2 onwards. And Kenny Pickett, like, dude, he's landing in the best offense. Mitch Trubisky did not get better from sitting a year. So Najee Harris is there. I mean, my boy George Pickens got there. Deontay, Claypool, Pat. So it's not the wrong move at all. I think there's very much room for differences of picks. There goes Kenneth Walker at the 1-4. You and I are both not anti Kenneth Walker. I like his landing spot. Do you like his landing spot?
You know, with the Kenneth Walker, it's interesting. I see it very, very interesting. I think he would be more of a pass cat. I mean, he could do it both. I think he could do it all. Okay. What can I say here?
Something.
I don't want.
Give me something.
I just don't want to. I don't want to sound dumb because I haven't been here.
Okay. All right. Well, look. Take time. Look. If you don't have a thought yet, take time. I know you've been on your honeymoon.
Yeah.
I'll just say this for anyone who's watching this: I am not afraid of Kenneth Walker's landing spot. This offense is their identity is built around the run game. Russell Wilson is now gone. They're gonna want to run the ball probably 35 to 40 times. Penny will be a factor, but it doesn't really worry me too much. So there goes Garrett Wilson at the 1-5. We'll pause for a second, talk about this. Then London, Jameson Williams, and Olave. For me, like I said, I don't think there's a wrong way to draft these guys. I am probably more worried about Garrett Wilson than your average person. I don't know if we're going to see consistency in that offense this year. I'm not anti Garrett Wilson, but it's not as if, you know, he's walking into like a Drake London target share. I would argue that Chris Olave probably has a better target share week 1, but I think that's still a good pick. Are you still Garrett Wilson wide receiver 1, or where do you stand there?
Look, right now it feels like I am Garrett Wilson still wide receiver 1. I've said this before. I think this actually helps Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore in this offense. I think they're going to move on from Corey Davis a lot sooner rather than later. And he's going to be the guy. There's a first-round pick.
Okay.
I think he's going to come in and be the guy on the outside, and they're going to move him around. Elijah Moore will probably just stay consistent in the slot.
That worries me a little bit. because I guess I'm not so certain Wilson is going to thrive on the outside. I could be wrong. But that worries me a little bit. And I think the issue is I think I don't know that Elijah Moore is all. Garrett Wilson is better than Elijah Moore, but I'm not sure it's a huge difference in talent.
Okay.
And people won't like me saying that, but that's how much I believe in Elijah Moore. But
and I get it. And, you know, I believe in Elijah Moore as well. I think they both complement each other in ways that maybe we don't understand right now, because they can be utilized the same. You know, I guess I think of it as maybe this is a bad comparison, but the first one I can think of is like a Julian Edelman, Wes Welker. Wes Welker was definitely a little bit smaller than Julian Edelman, but they kind of played the same role. If you really thought about it, they were in the slot, they interchangeable. One stayed on the outside, one came inside, you know, and then it was kind of like they were just playing. They were having fun with it, and I think that's what's going to happen here. They're going to have fun with Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson, and it's going to be fun to watch. I guess
what worries me about taking Wilson there is we didn't even see consistency for Elijah Moore with Wilson under center. That was with Mike White, you know. Yeah. So 100%. Now we're betting that he can do it for two guys. So that's why I'm saying like Olave feels safer to me, as well as London. London will probably get 140 targets as a rookie. You know, Olave, I think he perfectly complements Michael Thomas, and Jameis Winston, he can make fantasy relevant wide receivers. So
yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think all these wide receivers are in the same tier. So get your guy and trade back from the 1-2. But yeah, it's an interesting conversation. And then I think we're probably going to disagree on this one here. So James Cook at the 1-9. I don't think he should be a first round pick. I'm going to stand by that even today. And I'll just explain why. To me, James Cook drafted second to last second round pick. So almost a third round pick. People keep saying, well, he was drafted in the second. Yes, he was. And there's this belief that he is going to be the guy. As a prospect for James Cook, I think he's a good prospect. But I said that in his evaluation, he would be like James White in the NFL. So for me, I see him playing a James White role on this offense. In passing downs, he will definitely get work on the ground. I don't think his body is big enough to take a workload. He will get injured a lot if that's what they're asking from him. And I don't think he's like enough of a talent to keep Devin Singletary off the field. This is also a Bills team. Let's keep in mind. Let's take a journey real quick. First 5 weeks last year, we said, oh my God, Zach Moss, it's finally Zach Moss season. Okay. And then the next 3 weeks, we were like, what the freaking Matt Breida? Is it a Matt Breida comeback? And then after that, then we saw the emergence of Devin Singletary. And I just think the Bills want flexibility with their running backs. And they were going to sign J.D. McKissick. I think James Cook gives them more flexibility. The landing spot is amazing. I am so okay with James Cook in the second round, early second round. But I don't think he's going to be this 65% snap guy on this team. I think we're probably going to see 40% to him, 40% to Singletary, a split backfield, and Zach Moss will still have a role in certain games. Okay. So for me, I like the landing spot for James Cook. I am not anti-James Cook. I think he is the third best running back in this class, but I said it from the beginning before the draft, and I'm sticking by it. There's not a running back outside of Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker that I think deserves first-round draft capital in rookie drafts.
Look, I agree with the first-round draft capital. Okay. I can see him. I'm excited to have the 202 or the 203, the 201, because that's where I'll be happy to take him. I would disagree that he won't get the workload. I think the way I see it, the games that I picture James Cook playing in is the one that Matt Breida was taking off on. Okay. That's the type of play style they want to put James Cook in, and he can do that better than Matt Breida. He can do that better than Singletary. I think he's a better talent than Singletary and Moss. I don't think it would. I said this in the chat when I was texting, when I was in Fiji. I think he's going to get the workload, not in the beginning of the year, but the second half of the year, and then everyone is going to want to get is going to want to have James Cook. I do believe he could be this guy that is going to be the pass catching back and maybe get, 8 to 10 carries a game. He's not going to have the workload. I think he will be the pass catching back, and he can line out on the outside. So he's going to be a PPR monster in my opinion. And then once he gets used to the NFL, once he puts on another 10, 15 pounds, because I do believe that's probably what's going to happen.
But
here's
the thing on that. The whole, okay, I'm on board, but like the whole like, oh, well, he'll put on 10 to 15 pounds. Do we think that he's not been trying to do that? Do we think he's not been trying to do that in college? Do you know what I mean? I don't get that argument.
It's all about what the team wants him to do. If the team says, you know what, you're the perfect size.
I don't think it's all that easy to just be like, let's put on 10 to 15 pounds of muscle. That's a lot. But I mean, look,
100%.
I think he's going to be valuable. But at the same time, guys, Zach Moss and Devin Singletary were 3rd round picks. So it's not as if their draft capital was all that different.
I also think that we need to think about, you know, Brian Dable's not there. You know, Joe Shane is not there, and these are the guys who are at the Giants now. I think Phil Dorsey or Philip Dorsey, I think his name is. He's a completely different offensive mind coach, offensive coordinator. We don't know what he wants to do. We don't know what this offense is going to look like, and we all know that as much as we love Josh Allen, as much as he wants to run and he's going to run, they can't do that. And I've been saying this and been preaching this for a long time.
No, it's just why I don't understand about James Cook, because he's not a downhill. He's not this first, second down guy. And again, well, so let me ask you the question: Where do you want to draft him then? Where do you want to draft him? Because for me, it's from the 2-2 onwards.
If all these wide receivers are gone, let's just say every single wide receiver went out here. Like the only other wide receiver I'm happy with, Watson and Pickens. If they both go right here, I'm taking James Cook.
Okay, so you would take him as early as a 112.
Yes, if the wide receivers are not on the board, I'm going James Cook.
Okay.
Like obviously, but I think there's 12 people here, right? The only other people is Watson and George Pickens. And then after that, for me, is James Cook if running back, if that's what I'm really thinking about.
I know we don't like Dotson because he was drafted by Washington. I know people are low on him because of that, but he was still a top 16 pick. He still has a 5th-year option. He'll get a lot of leeway. I think he's talented. So for me, I'm still going someone who was drafted top 16, that draft capital, over James Cook. But so like I said, James Cook for me, a 2-2 type pick. But I can respect people's opinions. I just think, you know, it genuinely wins. This is the thing, right? Next year's draft has like 5 to 6 running backs that are more talented than James Cook. So what's going to stop the Bills next year? You know, if Bijan Robinson's on the clock.
And that's okay. Like, and that's the same. That's okay, because
I just don't think he locks up the position. Like the Jets right now, like, yeah, Brees locks that position up for the next 5 years. Do you know what I mean? I just don't see that. So there's good arguments on both sides, but I think people are maybe going to be disappointed with his career consistency. I think that's what it comes down to. If I can put it down to one conversation point, it's the career consistency for James Cook will not be there, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? Like, there will be weeks. He will be like a player. Like, you just don't know if you can start in certain weeks. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah.
I'm trying to think of somebody. Yeah, look, and we've seen this league going running back by committee. We've seen that, and it was surprised with even Brees and Michael Carter. I think that's what's going to happen here, and this is going to have a change of pace guy. And I'm okay with that.
Let's get this going. Sky Moore at the 110. I am personally Sky Moore over Christian Watson, but I don't hate it if you're the other way around. So let's see what happens here. You guys, I was higher on Sky as a prospect, and I like his landing spot better.
As much as I love Christian Watson, I'm definitely taking. I know that for a fact. I'm taking Sky Moore over Christian Watson.
Okay.
Chris Olave, I'm interested in. I know he hasn't gone off the board yet.
Yeah, he has. He went at the 1-8.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking about Christian Watson. But
okay.
Just give people my quick thought process on people. Drake London, I'm interested. They have 2 6'5+ guys on the team now. I wonder if Marcus Mariota or the quarterback next year. I think Drake London and Jameis Winston are picks for the future. Betting on they get a quarterback. That's all I gotta say. Chris Olave.
I feel like Drake London is just gonna step into so many targets. Hey.
Probably, yeah, 100%. And then
there goes Watson.
Chris Olave. I hope that. I'm scared of Jameis.
Wow.
I think there's gonna be a lot of inconsistency. Dameon Pierce.
Wow. Okay, Dameon Pierce in the first round. Too high for me. Too high for me. I feel better about Dameon Pierce as like a 2-7 onwards type player. Yeah, I know the competition isn't, you know, all that scary there, but again, I just feel like using a first round pick on someone, you want draft capital. You want the team to have a long-term commitment to that player. I think that's why I'm having like so much struggles with the Dameon Pierce. And again, he's my 4th running back in the class. So it's not as if I am anti him being the next running back. I just don't think that he should be a first round pick. I mean, you look at the depth chart, Marlon Mack is there, Rex Burkhead. So it's not as if I'm not saying I'm worried about those running backs there, but again, I think he was a 4th round pick if I'm not mistaken in the draft. So again, there are probably 6 to 7 running backs better than Dameon Pierce in next year's draft. I don't know what's going to stop Houston to take a Bijan Robinson, but you know, I like Dameon Pierce. I feel like he becomes a value at the 2-7, but the 112, I mean, look, even if you're saying, well, I needed a running back, well, trade back or draft a wide receiver who's going to be more valuable, you know? Jahan Dotson's on the board. I feel like I have to take him here. Again, this top 16 pick in the NFL draft will have the 5th-year option. I actually have come to the point where I think he complements Terry really well. So I like this pick here at the 2-2. I feel pretty confident in it as far as value versus pick.
Okay.
Do you think Dameon Pierce is too high? I mean, I know you're still...
I love Dameon Pierce. I do believe this is too high. He goes with the Texans. Marlon Mack is still there. I do believe he will start to see workload coming into the season slowly but surely.
So I think Dale's actually in the chat, by the way. He says, I don't pick again until 212. I missed the window to get Pierce. So this would, okay. So I think this is a good conversation, Dale. And again, our only goal here on the live stream is to present our thoughts, and maybe it helps you, maybe it won't. But if you're worried and you're actually drafting at the 112 and you're saying, well, a running back won't get back to me, that's not how I think you should be drafting in rookie drafts. Because let me ask you, in 1 year from now, do you believe that Jahan Dotson or Dameon Pierce is going to be more valuable in the trade market? For me, I think Jahan Dotson. You could see it differently, but I just feel like if you're in that position, then trade back or take the best player available, and then you trade for needs, not in the rookie draft. You don't draft for needs, you trade for needs. So if I'm saying he's viewed at the 2-7, maybe other people view him that way, and then you can send a trade for him later on if you miss out on him. So I think you trade for needs, rookie draft, you really consider landing spots, but also best player available. You know, so I just want to emulate your drafts as much as possible. That's my thoughts. I just think you shouldn't do that in a real draft is what I'm saying. I think I'm anti doing that in a real draft of saying, well, okay, look, I mean, I needed a running back. No, you don't draft needs, you know? So you're on the clock though.
I'm on the clock here.
And by the way, there's a lot of comments. We're not able to keep up with all of them. If you do want a comment answered straight away, drop a super chat. But so much love for you guys hanging out with us. If you have yet to drop a like, show us some love and drop a like for us. Let's see if we can get to 60 likes. 84 people watching. With your help, we can probably get there together. Badake, you're on the clock. What's the thoughts here?
Look, so I've been watching a lot from afar. I know this is my first one, so I'm just going to say names, and that's okay. Yep. I've been seeing a lot of John Mechie, Alec Pierce go around here. I personally don't think that's the right move. Okay. I see these guys. I mean, as much as I love John Mechie at Houston, as much as I love Alec Pierce in Indy, even who went to Dallas?
Tolbert. That's far too early for Tolbert.
Jalen Tolbert. I've been seeing a lot of those guys. But for me, I think what feels right here with the quarterback, with the landing spot, with the opportunity I believe is going to come to him, maybe not as early as this year, but for the future, that's David Bell. Okay. I don't know if this is too early or not. I don't know what people are thinking. Okay. But I like David Bell right here because I still do believe he's talented. His combine hurt him tremendously. Yep. Because he fell really far. But I would rather have David Bell over Alec Pierce because You know, I think Deshaun Watson is going to change. Is going to change his
sure.
offense. I think he's going to make everyone here fantasy relevant, whether that's Amari Cooper, whether that's David Bell. It just feels right for me taking David Bell here.
I can respect that. I have David Bell as my 21st ranked player in a super flex format, which means I have him as a second round grade. I just have him as like more like the 2.8, 2.9, 2.10.
Okay.
Draft capital. Sorry.
You have him a lot lower.
I do have him a lot lower
in the second round.
Yeah, so for me, Alec Pierce, John Mechie, they went really early in the second, and I actually really like their landing spots. Alec Pierce, Matt Ryan connected to him. I don't think 100%. It's a bad landing spot for him. I think it's a good landing spot, and I like him better as a talent. He was a better prospect for me. Mechie landing in Houston, he went a lot higher than I thought he would in the draft, but I think it makes sense. Like he really complements that offense. We keep hearing people say you want to build a basketball team of wide receivers. Well, let's think about it. You got Brandon Cooks to stretch the field, Brevin to go over the middle, and be that big body in the red zone. You've got Nico Collins on the outside, and John Mechie is the perfect like Hunter Renfrow-esque player for them. So. And then I also have the 3 quarterbacks ahead of David Bell, just because I know they were third round picks, but so was David Bell. Okay, so people keep saying don't draft these quarterbacks. They were third round picks. Well, the players that you're drafting ahead of them are third and fourth round picks. And I know that matters for a quarterback, but I don't think that Desmond Ridder is got a lot of security ahead of him. Same with Corral. And Willis, I mean, who knows what can happen midseason. So I have those quarterbacks ahead of him as well. And the thing I'll say is you really want to find out with your picks what you have. And I think Desmond Ridder and Matt Corral specifically, they will be starting quarterbacks at some point this year. Because the Falcons and the Panthers are going to be bad teams. They really want to know what they have in these players before looking at the 2023 class. So in my opinion, I think you can lock in Matt Corral and Desmond Ridder for like 5 to 7 games starting, and then you'll at least know what you have with those picks.
Yeah, I like Desmond Ridder's landing spot with Atlanta. I think he's gonna. We'll see him sooner rather than later. I think as well.
Yeah,
maybe towards the end of the season, and that will be very interesting. And that's why I think I would like to boost up. That's why I like Drake London a lot more than what I have expected. Alec Pierce, though, it's very interesting to me because I do believe he is similar to Michael Pittman. How I believe what they do and how they operate is very similar. Obviously, Alec Pierce is an outside guy, contested catch guy. Michael Pittman kind of was that as well. Is that I felt like I was hoping they would have gotten someone, even if it was a John Mechie, because it's like, okay, that's a
Sky Moore was on the clock, and I think we both said Sky Moore would have made more sense there.
Yeah, Sky Moore. And that just makes more sense. I just feel like they got the same person.
But I don't think that's bad, to be honest.
I don't think so
by the way, I think Alec Pierce, as far as speed-wise, he gives them more in that category of speed. But I don't think that's bad. I think that they can use him in different ways. So I like the Alec Pierce spot, but I get the concern. People probably want to know your thoughts on Wan'Dale Badake.
Oh, yes, Wan'Dale.
Because I didn't understand the pick from the Giants.
Look, there's two options. They either really considering trading Kadarius Toney, or they have an amazing vision with Wan'Dale Robinson.
Well, that's what Dable said, by the way, just to jump in real quick. Dable on a press conference was already speaking about how he envisioned using both Wan'Dale and Kadarius in the same offense, which I don't get it, but I mean, he was talking about it.
Yeah, the way I see it is that I do believe Kadarius stays in the slot, and Wan'Dale is going to be moved. He's going to be jet swept. He's going to be used as a running back. Think of like a Debo, but even smaller. You know, kind of like a Darren Sproles type vibe, because he can play that role. He can catch on the outside, and he's a speedster. He can do it all in the gadget plays, where Kadarius Toney, I think, is just going to focus as a pass catcher. You know, like that's it. That's his main focus, and they just want to have fun with Wan'Dale. Wan'Dale. That's the thought process. Do I like the pick? No. Is it too early? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would have liked anyone else over. I think someone like Sky Moore was available, if I'm not mistaken. Someone like just anyone besides Wan'Dale. But look, because I wasn't as high as him, but I wasn't high on him. But I can see how they're going to use him I think they should have done something different, in my opinion.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So Spiller at the 2-8, I think that's pretty high. I have Spiller going in the 3rd round of rookie drafts.
Okay.
I would rather take a shot on one of these quarterbacks in Superflex, even though their futures are unknown. Spiller, 4th round pick. I don't think he's gonna do much as a rookie. You just don't take Austin Eckler off the field. Hey, thanks Josh for the super chat. He says Drusif already won the draft. Drusif getting Kenneth Walker and Alec Pierce. But yeah, for me, look, Isaiah Spiller, I think I'm not anti-Isaiah Spiller, but you don't take Eckler off the field, and this team wants to win now. So I just think he's better as a 3rd round pick. That's where I have him in my rankings. Tolbert went off the board at the 212. There goes Davis Price. Which I was telling you about, hey, and then we saw him go.
And then he went.
I was like, bro, check out Davis Price. And I hate that I like him because I have Mitchell in a couple leagues. All right, so I'm on the board here. And really, it's between Tyler Algier for me and Trey McBride. Those are the 2 players I'm really considering here. I have them both in the same tier of my Superflex rankings. I'm actually making a video. I made a video already. It will release tonight or this morning for you guys on why I'm avoiding Algier. But that is in the context of him being drafted in the 1st or 2nd round. So here I think he becomes a value.
100%.
But yeah, I'm going to take Algier here at the 3-2. The video that I make is from the perspective of those people advocating for Algier in the 1st round or in the early 2nd. I think the earliest I'm willing to take Algier is around this range. So Mike Davis is gone, but again, he's a 5th round running back, and I don't want to get into it, but I get into a lot of detail about the history of 5th round running backs. I feel like I really presented my thoughts well in that video, so I'm excited for you guys to see it. But at this point, I mean, it becomes a value in my opinion.
Okay. It's interesting. You said another guy you were interested in was Trey McBride, and I think just to give my thought process really fast, I think it's a terrible landing spot for him. Zach Ertz, a 3-year contract extension. I don't know what's going to happen with Trey. I'm a little bit hesitant, especially hypothetically, even though I don't think this is going to happen. If Kyler Murray doesn't get signed, who the hell is going to be the quarterback there for Trey McBride? I just feel like it just wasn't the best fit for him.
Okay.
But that's just my thought process. I don't know what to do here. I'm looking at people and I'm seeing people. I don't know what's right. The only person I see here is Shakira. And I don't know if that's if this is too early or not, but this is what feels right for me.
For me, it's early, but you know, that I've had 6 days to sit down and 4 days to sit down and decide my rankings. So for me, it's too early, but I'm not going to say don't do it.
No.
Just before you make that pick, just quickly on the Trey McBride thing, you know, I actually do like the landing spot. I understand the concerns, but what you have to know about, I've said this, what you have to know about every tight end in this class, there's no Pat Freiermuth this year, in my opinion. There's no Kyle Pitts. These are all going to be slow burn tight ends. So I like the landing spot. It's just going to take a little bit, but go ahead on this pick.
Yeah, once again, I don't know what to do here. I'm maybe looking at Sam Howell as well.
Okay.
Here at the 3-3, I have Kenny Pickett already.
I have Howell as a tier 7 guy. You got a couple tier 6 guys for me on the board, but I know again, like, you haven't been able to sit down and make your rankings yet.
I haven't been able to sit down and really think about it. But for me, once again, Shakir feels right. Maybe once again, maybe it's too early, but I'm just gonna go with this. It just feels right. I get another wide receiver. With Cole Beasley no longer there, I think this feels right. I think I said it before. He will be a good complimentary guy. He'll play in the slot potentially. Gabriel Davis on the outside, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah,
they'll get him some more work. We'll see what happens. I mean, why not take a shot here in the 3rd round? But I just don't see anyone else that I like, unless it is a tight end. But even then, man, I mean, hey, I see one guy actually.
Yeah.
Hold on.
There's some players on the board that I think we should probably consider, but I don't want to say them. I don't want to influence the draft. You can probably open my rankings if you want to look at who I'm talking about.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, I actually can do that.
I'll highlight the people that I was talking about.
Let's see.
I think one of these names is
Oh, okay.
to
That's
me
interesting.
is to me specifically this one that I'm highlighting. I feel like his landing spot is great, especially the history of that team with that position. So,
I'm assuming this would be a better value pick for you as well, thinking about the other guy.
which guy? Shakir?
Like, are you talking about this guy, number 20? This one? I don't know if you
28?
can see me high. Yeah,
28 is who I was maybe
You would
thinking
take
there,
it.
but also 26 I think might have been the pick for me with the capital he got.
Yeah. How are you feeling? Well, when he goes off.
When he goes off, we'll talk about it, but
I'm very interested because, yeah.
we'll see what D. Lawrence does here. But yeah, Trey McBride, like I said, I mean, most classes there's one tight end I can point to say, yeah, he might have an impact as a rookie. But I just think all these guys, you will see fantasy relevant tight ends from this draft. I just don't think it's as a rookie. So that's a player. So Romeo Dubs is a player I definitely was considering there. I said
D.
this.
Lawrence has the rankings.
Yeah,
He's
right.
part of the community. So you read it.
I said this earlier in a previous live stream, but if I look at Romeo Dubs and Christian Watson, I have
Based
to
on the
ask
value, yeah.
myself, who suits Aaron Rodgers better as far as what he looks for in a wide receiver? And that's just consistency. That's all Aaron Rodgers wants is consistency. Christian Watson, the worst drop career rate of any player in this class. So for me, like I wouldn't be surprised if Romeo Dubs gets a real nice role as a rookie. All it's going to take is for him to build a connection with Aaron Rodgers in camp. Now, there's a good chance that he doesn't develop that connection, but again, you're spending a 3rd round pick on him. I like the pick. There goes Keontae Ingram. You know, I like Keontae Ingram, but I think there are a lot of other players on the board. He's my 43rd ranked player in a Superflex rookie draft. I think
Right.
he's someone I want to target in the 4th rounds. I mean, we got Keontae who was drafted in the 6th round. We still have a 3rd round running back on the board. So I am a big Keontae fan, but I think more I want to take him as a sleeper in the 4th. There goes Dulcich, Zamir
Yep.
White,
Right.
Tyquan Thornton, Danny Gray, and Sam Howell. That's where I'm comfortable taking Sam Howell there, end of the 3rd. Take a shot.
Okay.
We'll see. Wentz has had some injury history. You just want to see a guy get a chance. You know, that could be a taxi squad for you. Tyquan, I think he definitely should be considered in the 3rd. I mean, he got 2nd round draft capital. You know, like you just can't let someone who got 2nd round draft capital fall to the 4th round. And Danny Gray with the 3rd round draft capital, he's a name I'm very intrigued by if Debo moves on.
100%. I can definitely see that happening.
So there goes Brian Robinson off the board. That was a guy that I have ranked as my 26th player. So I actually would have considered him. I would have considered him all the way at the 3-4, Brian Robinson.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
I'll give you my thoughts really fast because I know the community knows yours. For me, I'm scared of Antonio Gibson's value. I think they would definitely use him in a way that we won't expect. Whether that's goal line, they want a bigger guy to punch it in, and they need a bigger back. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that means. I think it does hurt Antonio Gibson. How much does it hurt him? I don't know. Once again, I still have to think about that. But you're on the clock and tell me about
Yeah,
Brian
so I guess quickly on Brian Robinson. Initially, I wasn't very worried, but now hearing Ron's plans for him, it almost sounds like they want to emulate kind of like what Buffalo does a little bit. Like the way he stated it was, I think different running backs can give us different things in that backfield. So now we have 3 guys that we feel like we can really use. And I wouldn't say Brian Robinson is a much bigger back than Gibson, but I think he's a more traditional running back. And I think at times maybe Washington was frustrated with Gibson's lack of ability to pick up the running back position. So I still think Gibson has top 12 upside, and I still think he will be the guy in that offense. But I do think Robinson will have a role, and it wouldn't surprise me if this is someone that we see finish with, let's say, 5 touchdowns as a rookie and 600-700 yards, you know. So, and at points when Gibson was injured, they wanted someone like Brian Robinson because they had Jarrett Patterson. Anyone who owns Jarrett Patterson, it's probably a big RIP for him. But yeah, it worries me about Gibson. I'm not selling Gibson out of panic, but I would say have healthier expectations. He no longer has top 5 upside. I said that when J.D. McKissick re-signed, but even more now, he doesn't have top 8 upside. I think he's more of a running back 10 to 12.
Yeah, I mean,
which is fine.
Yeah.
That's still a valuable player. All right, I'm on the clock, and the next 2 players my rankings are Tyler Beatty and Velus Jones Jr.
Oh boy, look it up. Come on.
In our last draft, Velus was not drafted, if I'm not mistaken, but again, the draft capital. This guy was taken in the 3rd round, and that's very intriguing to me. Velus is, at least. Beatty, I think there's not a lot of competition for the RB2 position. Yeah, Gus Edwards is there, but the injury is horrific. A team that runs the ball a lot. You know, Beatty, I've talked about how much I like him. So for me, it's Beatty first, then Velus, but I don't think there's really a wrong answer. They're in the same tier for me. But I am going to go ahead and draft Beatty here at the 4-2. I like Velus, but I'm a little bit worried that they're going to try and use him in like a role that's too creative. I don't know if that makes sense. Like a role that's like so creative where like there's not target share to rely on. I don't know. Like I don't know their vision for him.
I don't
but
know.
It's a 4th round, so
yeah, I don't know their vision with him either. But yeah, it is a 4th round. I think this is perfect. He's technically the wide receiver 2, if I'm not mistaken, on this team. A wide receiver 3 on this team. Excuse me. I think he'll be surprised. I think they can use him in some fun ways as well. 25-year-old rookie.
Yeah.
Look it up.
So there goes Calvin Austin off the board. Sorry guys, we haven't really been able to keep up with the chat, but I think mainly that's because we're just I'm hearing Badake's thoughts, but and Badake's hearing my thoughts. We're getting on the same page. But there goes Calvin Austin off the board. I'm not anti Calvin Austin, but
I'm disappointed.
I think here's the thing with Calvin Austin. I think he's drafted for the Ray McLeod role, and I don't see a lot of upside for fantasy. I mean, this is a team that already drafted George Pickens before him, so now we have George Pickens, Deontay, Claypool, Pat Freiermuth, and Najee. You're telling me he's probably the 6th or 7th option on an offense? What is that? Is that 2 targets a game? I think they probably are really intrigued in him as a punt returner.
Yeah, especially
so.
How I see it as well.
I'm not super intrigued, but you know, in the 4th round, take a shot. There's just a couple other running backs on the board that I think I'm probably going to take a shot on over him. There goes Jelani Woods. I liked his landing spot.
Yeah, I like his landing spot as well. I think
it's interesting.
Well, I think it's very interesting. And then Justin Ross goes to your beloved Chiefs.
Yep.
I saw that. This is another guy who a lot of people were taking in the early 2nd round.
Mm-hmm. I think the NFL was real scared of him, but
yeah, and that's what I was. I was scared of him. I was scared of that that ankle. I mean, of that back injury. And I think they were scared of that as well. And if he does prove everyone wrong, that's fantastic. But I don't know. I'm just don't want to take a chance.
I can understand that. I think, you know, he's an undrafted free agent, so the success of that is not very high. But we'll see. I mean, he's got a shot in the 4th round. If you did love him as a talent, I'm not against it. Blaster of the Universe says, am I dumb for taking Dotson over Pickens? I actually have Dotson over Pickens in my rankings just because I think he will have the more immediate impact in fantasy. But, you know, I don't think it's crazy. Jerome Ford, we love Jerome Ford. Not a very good landing spot.
Hey, there is hope, though.
I don't know. There is, but, I mean, Nick Chubb long-term, Kareem Hunt's there, and also, freaking, what's his name, who made a big impact?
Dearness Johnson.
Yes, Dearness Johnson. So
is he
the RB4 here?
The only reason why I say there's hope is because Kareem this year. I don't know about Dearness Johnson and Nick Chubb contract.
He's still signed for a while.
Yeah, he's still signed for a while. I just want to double check because I think he has a 3-year.
But also, I just think the draft capital in general was really disappointing for Jerome. A 5th-round pick. Historically, there's not a lot of success there.
Yeah, so I mean, if they don't believe in Dearness and they take a chance on Jerome Ford taking the Kareem Hunt role, that can be interesting. Other than that, that's the only hope I see happening.
Yeah.
Really disappointing from Jerome Ford, but hey, what can you do?
So let's talk about a couple players that I think should have been drafted that weren't. Firstly, Pierre Strong. Okay, so Pierre Strong did not get drafted. However, he was drafted as he was drafted in the 4th round. And if I'm not mistaken, he was drafted obviously before Kevin Harris. What the hell are the Patriots doing this year in the draft? Has Bill truly lost it? I don't know. But 4th round pick, Pierre Strong, in a good running back room. I would consider him. He wasn't drafted. Kyle Phillips, I actually have ranked as my 35th player in a Superflex format. I think Kyle Phillips and Shakir have very similar paths to relevancy. Shakir in Buffalo, Kyle Phillips in Tennessee. And if we think about it, I'm not sure Bobby Trees is even going to be ready to start the season. So I think Kyle Phillips absolutely should be drafted. But I think we pretty much did well. Other names that come to mind: Eric Izukama, drafted in the 4th round by the Dolphins, maybe trying to replace Devontae Parker. And if anyone's drafting in the 5th rounds, I think that's where I would see tight ends start to go. That's where I would justify some of the tight ends. Specifically, 2 guys that really intrigued me, both in the NFC East. One being Cole Turner. You know, I was really high on, not really high, but it was a name that I kept pointing out throughout the offseason, throughout the pre-draft. Cole Turner from Nevada. He goes in the 5th round to Washington. And I'm really intrigued because it's not as if we have the tight end position locked up long term. I think he could be an impact. Like, he could be a red zone guy. Really, like, he's not Jimmy Graham. He doesn't, not even anywhere close, but what he can do in the red zone, he is a basketball player. He's like 6'6", got great hands, great jumping ability. So he intrigues me in the 5th round. Again, he's a 5th round pick in rookie drafts. And then one that I really want to point out to people that I think is very underrated, that I absolutely want on all of my taxi squads, is Jake Ferguson. Okay, he got drafted to Dallas in the 4th round, and watching his film, he actually kind of reminded me of Dalton Schultz, and Dalton Schultz is on a franchise tag, so I kind of see this as Dallas being like, well, this is our next Dalton Schultz in a year from now, you know. So maybe, he won't play an impact as a rookie, but he's a guy I'm really intrigued by as far as a taxi squad player. So yeah. Okay. Those are some people that come to mind. I know Isaiah Pacheco out of Kansas City was drafted in the 7th round. You know, these are all 5th round guys I'm talking about. Bailey Zappi, you know, New England. Obviously, Mac Jones is a guy, but they've developed quarterbacks and sent them away. So for starting positions, I think of Jimmy G. I think of Jacoby Brissett.
Right. Okay.
I think of Matt Castle. So I'm not opposed to drafting Bailey Zappi in the 5th round. I mean, they spent a 4th round pick on Bailey Zappi. So
yeah, that's huge.
That's higher draft capital than Sam Howell.
I think that's funny though. I don't know why that happened. I wonder why that happened.
Interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
It's very interesting, but
yeah.
I mean, the kid got an arm.
Yep.
One thing I knew is that he can rip it and he can throw that shit far. Where Mac Jones,
that's funny.
I mean,
he can rip it, he can throw that shit far.
but Mac Jones, he don't got that, like, you know, he don't got that Josh Allen arm, you know.
Yeah,
he
no, he doesn't.
Yeah, it's interesting. So,
but maybe he's got that Tom Brady IQ. Not. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of disrespectful to Tom Brady, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I mean, that's a compliment for Mac Jones, if anything.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that you guys did really well. I'll say, again, I feel like Dameon Pierce was a little bit of a reach. I already said why. Spiller felt like a reach to me. Keontae felt like a reach to me. But I think everyone did pretty well. I hope that this helps you guys in your rookie drafts. 55 people watching. We got 60 likes. If you have yet to drop a like, show your boys some love. Drop a like. Let's see if we can get to 65 on your way out. See if we can get to 65 together. 65 likes. I appreciate you guys. And we are actually about to do a startup draft, Badake.
Oh yes, I need this too, because I am struggling too. I need all the help I can get, all the practice I can get.
I love it.
We got mock drafts, or we got actual league drafts in a week, and I feel like I know nothing. So I need to pick it up.
Well, you've come to the right place, and you're gonna have more than enough practice in the next week. With the amount of mock drafts that we're going to do on the channel. So. Hey, thank you so much for the super chat, Josh. He says Schultz will get paid. Jerry loves a tag. I don't know, man. I really see the Jake Ferguson move as Dallas preparing to let Schultz walk, but I can respect the take. Okay. Schultz, for me, I don't think he had enough draft capital. I think he's good, but he's not special enough to pay big money. So, and you have to keep in mind, like, the Cowboys have to make tough decisions. They have to. With Amari Cooper, that was a tough decision. With Zeke getting the money that he's getting. But, Josh, take a screenshot of that. And then if a year I'm wrong, I will be happy to say I'm wrong.
Love that.
I guess it depends on what it would cost in the market, too. Because, yeah, they could definitely re-sign him. But I guess market value is always everything. But all right, guys, we are about to start this draft here. Okay, Dynasty Superflex startup draft. We're gonna end this stream and go there. I'm gonna paste a link in the chat. So what I would say is go head over to this one, and if you comment here, you can actually see your comment on the stream right now. But yeah, we're gonna end this stream, do a Dynasty Superflex startup draft. So click on the link that I've pasted in the chat. I spammed it in the chat.
Spam it.
Transition over there. We're not really going to say anything worth anything here anymore. So we'll see you guys over there.
All love, y'all. See you in the next one.
Huge love. And join the Discord if you want to be a part of this next mock too. So see you there.